When I first began writing this, it was a rainy day, as was the next day and the day after that. So far, the majority of May. I don't know about all of you, but the rain sure has the ability to put me in an awful mood. At first, I thought it was simply due to the fact that everything is just worse in stormy weather. Every little dip in a walking path becomes a hazardously large body of water that desires nothing more than some dry shoe drenching fodder. Sporting events become slog fests, driving the hardest of tests, and pool time suspended for fear of lightning-induced cardiac arrests. But surely this can't be all that upsets me about dark cloud days. I mean, after all, with a little concentration, puddles can easily be evaded, leaving little fear of shoes being by water penetrated. A little mud never harmed anyone. The exhilaration of driving in hurricane conditions makes for good fun, and swimming is without a doubt best enjoyed in the sun. After some more thought, I came to the conclusion that my real issue with the rain is not the conditions that it creates, but rather the intentions that it deflates. I do not particularly enjoy when a Virginia wannabe monsoon wrecks all my glorious plans for the afternoon. I simply wanted to go with my friends on a hike or sit out in the sun while reading that book I like. But no, the rain decides towards fun it has a strong dislike. Then again, the rain didn't really do anything wrong. Why? It was simply with Mother Nature's plans moving right along. Maybe, instead of placing all the blame on the rain, instead of fixating on it as the harbinger of all pain, I need to start looking inwards and examine what is going on within my own brain. You see, the real problem in those moments isn't the water falling down all around me, but the storm raging within my own mind. My annoyance with the rain is merely representative of my life. How my dismay with shattered expectations is all too rife. I'm talking about the tyrannical tempests formed when my expectations and reality collide, that dictatorial train of thought that can leave me questioning everything I've got. We all know that feeling when what we're doing just doesn't feel like enough. We all know that nagging voice within that can refuse to let us enjoy the beautiful chaos known as life. We all know the doubts our excessive overthinking can breed, how they can make long-term stability seem like a dream. But from where do these doubts arise, these negative views that flood our eyes? The answer lies in pleasure. For many of us, pleasure is what keeps us going. The pursuit of pleasure is what drags us out of bed most mornings and jettisons us out into the middle of life, in the hopes that we may find our efforts are leading to something, that our time and energy is being compensated in the form of happiness, that we can say there is something tangible we can hold on to, something that we can point to and say, look, my toils have not been in vain. That which I so meticulously sowed has rightfully been reaped, and I am joyful. Yet the pursuit of pleasure is also what keeps us awake at night, tossing and turning as we question if what we're doing is worth it, as we ask ourselves if what we're spending our time on each and every day is enough to satisfy our desires. You see, we want the world to fit our image of success. We want to paint a picture that fits our fancy. We were all told growing up that if we worked hard, if we stayed dedicated to our goals, then we could achieve that burning in our chests, that yearning in our hearts to do something with ourselves, to make something of our lives. But the path to success sure does meander, snaking from one job to the next, weaving in and out of passions, twisting us up on the inside and leaving us bewildered. We were also told as children that if we acted honestly and kept an open heart, then love would find its way, and we'd know from the start. But we grow older and either remain single or come across those simply seeking a thrill, or marry the one who is perfect, only to find years later we feel entrenched in a marriage that seems a lot less than ideal. I do not mean to sound jaded. Rather, I'm being honest in saying that even the brightest, most secure of relationships has its days where the light is obscured by darker hardships. So there you have it. Work and love, the two most dominant areas of our life, can certainly be filled with their fair share of strife. Times change, passions change, plans change, people change. We can't rely on pleasure to gauge the validity of our life due to the very essence of its fleeting nature. Yet that is exactly what the majority of us do, whether consciously or not. How then can we stand firm in the ever-shifting currents around us? How can we remain constant in a world where the only certainty is uncertainty? How can we become built to last? For a person guided by pleasure is a ship lost at sea, no sails to cover its barren mast. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with desiring joy. That is how we were wired, tall or short, girl or boy. The real problem arises when we put at the center of our lives the thirst for happiness and override God's infinite wisdom because we believe our ways, our means will make us happiest. Because no matter how hard we try, placing our purpose in anything except God's plan will only leave us high and dry. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 11 puts it perfectly when it says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." This is a culture shock for many of us, myself included. Our whole lives, society has told us that our life is in our hands, that what we do, we should do so long as it is a part of our plans, and we can't let anyone or anything come in and place bans. But what society fails to realize is that being a part of God's plan doesn't mean selling your dreams. It means realizing who the provider for those dreams is, and being okay with the fact that sometimes He may need to change the course of your life because your skills are needed elsewhere to help advance the kingdom. Serving God's purpose is as easy as 1, 2, no need for 3. Our only job is to be the best examples of God's word that we can be. For like the perfect rhyme, God will have us in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. It isn't easy, though. It's called faith for a reason. We have to truly believe that God will be by our side through every season. And contrary to popular opinion, it takes a strong person to allow God to play a part in personal dominion. But the moment we surrender is the moment we have won. The moment we relinquish is the moment our liberation will have begun. That is because following God's plan leads to peace of mind for a while, as security becomes not a byproduct of success, but a lifestyle. Moses puts it best in Psalm 91, verses 1 through 2, when he says, "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I can trust." Do you not see what Moses is saying here? Is it not perfectly clear? This is the framework for the perfect peace that in our own lives can be achieved. That for every man who lived at the center of God's will and truly believed was another individual who had the greatest of hopes received. Some things just can't be controlled, yet we want to control everything. Isn't it good then that we have an omnipotent ally in heaven? Work, cancer, family issues, struggles fitting in, financial worries, unclear futures, the list goes on. And if we let these uncertainties conquer us, then we'll be left with hope that's all but gone. But if we are serving God's purpose, then we can be sure He will provide for our every need, because a clear mind undoubtedly does thoughts of more eternal significance breed. But don't let foolishness beseech you. Take care to pay heed. That which we desire is not always that which we need. Before I let Justin take over, I would like to ask you a question that you must answer in your heart. Do you truly believe that God has a plan for you? And if so, are you willing to do your part? As for me, I'll take enjoying this rainy day the Lord has given me as a start. Thank you.